So Kim, if you had your druthers, if you had your preferences, are there things that you'd like greater access to as a, in terms of this small firm based on innovation, creativity, things that you'd like access to that are located here, assets at ECU?
Oh, absolutely. So we're definitely looking forward to building relationships with the university, but I would like to have access to graduate students, and that would be ideal, and to absolutely building up a bigger infrastructure too within the university. So definitely getting involved with
profs and graduate students.
Absolutely.
We have lots of profs and lots of graduate students. I'm sure we can share them.
Oh, yes. And it's been wonderful working with them. I have a strong relationship with the chemistry and physiology department, and definitely building up a lot of good relationships.
I think this is a testimony to something that we're after, right? The engagement of students in all of these difficult processes. They're all difficult. Innovation's difficult, and certainly entrepreneurship. These are difficult processes. And we do want our students at the undergraduate and the graduate level to be engaged in these processes so that they're accustomed to them. I don't know who's going to take this one, but do we ever run into policies and regulations that inhibit what we're trying to do?
So we've been trying to work on a deal with one of the universities actually in the UK, because we have 2 other sites in the UK with building relationship as sponsoring a graduate student. And one of the contracts that we're trying to go through with the university has been a bit of a challenge, because they want 100% of the IP. They want us to pay fees and not have exclusive rights. They're going to grant us exclusive rights for only 3 years. So some of the limitations for us is, do we want to invest in this graduate student and let them develop further our IP portfolio when we won't have exclusive rights for 3 years? So some of the challenges with working with universities is getting through the contract phase and developing that relationship where both sides can benefit from the IP process and intellectual property. So.
Well, knowing our university system and ECU, I'm sure we have our own policies that inhibit what we'd like to do in some cases. So, John, do you think anything at the state level?
I'm not an expert on regulation. In my office, I'm proud to say, doesn't regulate anybody. We try to help companies. There is a reason for regulation, though, and regulations can be good in many instances. But the companies that we work with, we often ask them what their biggest challenges are. And while regulations are mentioned, especially in the kind of healthcare, medical care space, they're usually not the first thing that's mentioned. It's usually a lack of capital or a lack of talent or just the resources that they need. And then my office organized an initiative for the governor's office. It was called the Innovation to Jobs Initiative. And it was a way to focus on how can the state help universities commercialize more of their technologies. And we administered a survey to about 1,000 what we call well-informed stakeholders across the state. So it was not the average citizen, but it was university faculty, university staff, investors, business people, entrepreneurs, and said, what are the biggest challenges in commercializing technologies? And again, among those 1,000 people, we had about 600 who replied, gave us detailed replies. Regulations were mentioned, but they were, I'd say, third tier and not the primary. And to the extent that they were mentioned, it was usually university policies and procedures as more than governmental regulations.
Jeffrey, anything at the federal level that comes to mind in terms of the regulatory environment and its impact?
I'm not sure I can speak to the federal level. From a corporate perspective, while corporations will often complain about regulation policies, in this particular environment, what you're talking about is a clash of cultures and business models more than it is an issue of policy or regulation. Mm-hmm. The ideas are out there and they're getting commercialized. It's just not happening fast enough on either side. But that's not because of regulation or policy. It's because you have 2 different sort of operating models, business models, and ways of thinking that have yet to jive well.
Mm-hmm. And just to add to that, and it's going to sound like I'm not putting any emphasis on regulations, because they do have an impact. But if there were absolutely no regulations on any economic activity, innovation would still be incredibly hard. And so innovation is inherently hard. Regulatory climate, irrespective of that.
Yeah.
And so it's
I want
difficult.
to respond to that because you guys have said something that I'm going to disagree with.
Okay.
So here's where we're going to blow up the whole panel.
All right,
Good,
let's
good.
go. That's why we're here.
I did that on purpose.
Innovation is easy.
Okay.
Commercialization is hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Innovation, generating creativity and generating ideas is easy. We should all be doing that all the time. In fact, everybody's going to solve a problem somewhere today. So what I think of as ideation and innovation, the front innovation is easy if we allow it to happen. It's when we get caught up in all the other things.
I agree.
That commercialization side and then taking it to market, that's the challenging part.
Yep.
So I'd like to make that distinction.
Yeah.